All right, in an historic city that preserves remnants of the past, it would seem natural that former inhabitants would still be lurking about. In Charleston, you'll find that spirits are just as much a part of the city as the living. At least that's what those at the Battery Carriage House Inn say. In the second part of our Haunted Charleston series, Michal Higdon takes us to the Haunted Hotel in downtown Charleston.
Immediately to my left is the Battery Carriage House Inn. It is said to be the most haunted hotel in downtown Charleston, and there's reportedly several ghosts who live there. And while the owners have never experienced the supernatural, some employees and some guests have experienced some odd encounters. Located on South Battery and right across from White Point Gardens, the inn is celebrating its 175th anniversary this year. Since the 1800s, the home has seen many transitions, including little apartments, a kind of brothel, college dorms, and then finally,
in the early 1970s, it became the Battery Carriage House Inn and has operated that way since.
Elizabeth Kilminster is the general manager of the inn and says people come there for a specific reason: ghosts.
They bring all kinds of equipment and EVP and light meters and heat meters, and they'll leave their cameras set up in the room.
There are apparently several ghosts around the property and in certain rooms. Specifically, if you were to go upstairs, down the hallway, and enter room 10.
So I've heard that this is the gentleman's room and that it's supposed to be a friendly ghost that's like a gray silhouette.
Grace just started at the inn and hasn't had any encounters herself. Did you know it was haunted before you started?
No, I didn't.
But says she has heard stories.
Apparently, one couple that stayed in here said that a man said that he felt like he couldn't fall asleep and he really felt a presence come through the door, and then he didn't want to wake his wife and scare it away, and then he said he felt it lie down on the bed with both of them, but it seemed really peaceful and not to be bothering them. So then once he woke his wife up, he immediately felt it disappear.
Now, when I was chatting about encounters that had happened here at the inn, Elizabeth mentioned a man named Steve Skinner who apparently had stayed in room 10.
So he had a sophisticated piece of equipment that takes energy and then kind of connects the dots so it becomes sort of a stick figure.
One night, Mr. Skinner caught something. This first video he sent me shows a stick figure touching and then standing on top of his wife's head while she was sitting in bed. The second shows that same stick figure, maybe, sitting in a chair along the back wall. And after several seconds, it jumps to the window and appears to hang out on the curtains for several more seconds before disappearing.
It's hard to explain some of the things.
And while they have heard about multiple encounters, Elizabeth and Grace agree it's an experience they would rather not have. Would you ever stay in one of these rooms yourself?
No. I'm a bit of a scaredy cat, so I don't know if I could do it just because it seems pretty believable.
I just kind of tell them, if you're here, that's fine, but I don't want to see you and you just leave us alone. So it's worked so far.
Reporting from the Battery Carriage House Inn, I'm Michal Higdon, Live 5 News.
Now, your first alert forecast.